music has been around for a long time. In fact, the first forms of musical notation were produced in Iran more than 2,000 years ago. Modern musical notation was devised by the composers of European classical music and is now used by musicians throughout the world. Initially, the notation system may appear confusing, but after a while it becomes easier and is quite logical. Also, there are plenty of fingering and fret position hints given on compositions published for the banjo. The banjo uses the treble or G clef, which is a staff of 5 lines. The clef sign indicates that the second line up the staff is the note G and is marked here in red. This is a scale of C major, showing the strings used and at which fret positions the notes are played. Here we see the same scale illustrating which fingers of the right hand are used to pick the strings. The plus sign indicates the thumb, the dot, the index finger, and 2 dots, the middle finger. We will be playing this scale and others in our fingering exercises and scales tutorial video. In this example, we can again see the notes on the staff, and we can also see extra lines above the staff. These are known as ledger lines. The extra lines are to accommodate the higher notes that are often played in banjo music. In these tutorials, we do not intend to try to teach you to read either notation or tab. That is down to you to decide and learn. The internet is full of free tutorials on both forms of score reading. We hope that by following the simple fingering exercises and techniques videos that you will become confident enough to follow the Georgia Medley lessons. There we will take you through note by note, bar by bar, and section by section, so that even a complete beginner will be able to play one or all of the classic style tunes in Joe Morley's Georgia Medley. To make it easier for players of stringed instruments, a system called tablature has been developed. Tablature, also known as tab, is a form of musical notation exclusive to fretted instruments. Rather than telling you which notes to sound, tablature tells you which strings to use and where to fret them. Since tablature offers less information than musical notation, it is often included underneath the notation in order to assist the player in finding the correct fingerings. In spite of the fact that banjo notation already includes a lot of information usually found in tablature, the use of tab is nevertheless very widespread in the fretted instrument world, as it is easier for learners to read. The banjo tab staff has 5 lines, which represent the banjo's 5 strings. If you hold your banjo on your lap facing upwards, you will see the strings in the same order as they appear in the tab staff. The bottom line represents your 5th string, and the topmost line represents your 1st string. When reading from tablature, you must make sure that your instrument is in the same tuning as that specified in the tablature. A number on a line indicates where you must fret the string when you play it. A 0 means that the string is to be played open. This is another illustrated comparison of standard notation and tab. Keep in mind that this tab was written for a banjo tuned G, C, G, B, D. In this tab, you can see it is possible to recognise quavers and semiquavers on the tab staff by looking at their flags, which are the same as in standard notation. But it isn't possible to tell a minim from a crotchet. The player must deduce the length of the note or read it on the standard notation staff. Finally, if you take another look at the notation staff, you will see that there are plus signs and dots under the staff which relate to the right hand fingers, and numbers next to notes on the staff which are the left hand fingers. On the tablature staff there are the letters T, I, M under the tab, which denote the thumb, index and middle fingers of the right hand. On the tab, the numbers do not relate to fingers, but are the fret position on the fingerboard where the notes are played. There will be more about this on the chord shapes and fingering videos.